Today, everyone, we are back on Travel Explore Celebrate Life. We are back in office, and Sunila is back from Australia. Well, even though Sunila may be back from Australia, she spent like a long time over there. On Travel Explore Celebrate Life, we are still in Australia. And today, we're going to talk about, I would say, Sunila, one of the top attractions when someone plans a trip to Australia, right? The Great Ocean Road, one of the best drives you can see, or you can like experience when you go to Australia. If you read any blog, anyone out there, if you ask them what is the top thing that you should do when you're in Australia, of course you'll often hear about the Great Ocean Road. So Sunila, let's talk about the Great Ocean Road today. Welcome back from Australia. It's good to see you at office for some time at least before you jet off somewhere else again. But let's start with, what is the Great Ocean Road?
Hi, Neil, and hi, everyone. Yes, it was amazing. I had a really good trip down under. And the Great Ocean Road, very rightly, as Neil has said, is one of the top attractions. Definitely a must do if you're going to Australia for the first time, second time, or the third time. And I'll tell you why. Because most people, like everyone else, when you go for the first time, you have so many things to do in Australia itself, right? You have so many different states. It's a very big country, it's an island. And you want to try and do Victoria, you want to try and do New South Wales, you want to do Queensland, you want to do Canberra, you want to add everything in. And then we have very little time left for the Great Ocean Road. So probably a first timer goes to the Great Ocean Road for a day from Melbourne and comes back, like at least let me go and see it. And then the second and the third timers can do so much more. Neil, this time when I was there, I was privileged, and I will tell you why, because I was actually driving when I was on the Great Ocean Road. So we did a self drive. It was, of course, a business trip, but it was a lot of fun because we were going there to find out new things, new places to do, or how really to work on the Great Ocean Road. And I think I was lucky enough or smart enough to be driving on the day that we were on the Great Ocean Road. So I remember at this one point coming up a hill, and then suddenly you start seeing the ocean to your left. And the entire road, 240 kilometers, 243 kilometers to be precise, is full of rainforest on one side, the mountains on one side, and then you have the entire ocean on your left. And it's like for miles and miles and miles you can see it, and it's one of the best roads. You did mention that what is the Great Ocean Road really, so let's get to that. This is one of the best roads or drives, not only in Australia but anywhere in the world. It kind of starts somewhere from 100 kilometers from Melbourne, and you can say that it starts from the town of Torquay, and it goes all the way to Allensford in 243 long kilometers. So just think of it. If you had to do it in a day, you'll probably not stop anywhere and keep driving all day. But that's not the point. The whole point of the Great Ocean Road is to keep driving, discover the small towns along the way, take your time, savor it in, and really have a lot of fun. It has a lot of attractions or natural attractions. So there's a national parks along the way. And of course, the main attraction, which all of us know, is the 12 Apostles, which is near the town of Port Campbell. So that's definitely a point of interest that people can get to. The reason the Great Ocean Road was built, and it is also known as the world's longest war memorial, because after World War One, they wanted to find some work for the veterans, the war veterans from World War One, and they decided, like Australia decided, that why not build a road to commemorate everybody, all the great souls who died in the World War One. So from 1919 to 1932, they kept building, and what a masterpiece they've created. So, you feel good when you're there. The weather is amazing. The road is amazing. It's so picturesque all the way. And then it is a war memorial, like the world's longest war memorial. So it can't get any more special than that.
So, like this angle that I'm sitting at facing the window, and one of the things that we keep seeing outside the corporate office windows is planes flying in, right?
That's
and I
right.
just saw like a Cessna flying into Mumbai airport. That brings me to my next question, like the helicopter ride. And the helicopter
Yes.
ride is often in our ads, in many of our itineraries. In the recently launched itinerary also, we have included it. Many of our customized holidays guests also make sure that they do the helicopter ride. How does the helicopter ride feel? Because the view that you get, see, once you're on the Great Ocean Road, of course, you're driving by the ocean. Once you reach the 12 Apostles, then that's a view that you get of the Apostles from one side and the other side. How is it from the top?
Yeah, I would say it is a must do. Very often, many places when they offer a helicopter ride, very often we leave it that let's keep it as, let's not include it in the itinerary. It's an optional item because people may want to do it, may not want to do it. But when it comes to the Great Ocean Road, I would say this is something you have to and you must include. The good part is the weather is so amazing all year round that the chance of a helicopter not flying is really very minimal. And in all these years that we've been doing Australia, we've never had a cancellation. So that itself speaks for something. What happens is when you come to, so to really see, the entire road is too big to cover in a helicopter ride. It's about 15 minutes that you get in the helicopter ride. Plus, you can take a longer version if you want, but 15 minutes is a good enough time. I mean, flying time, 15 minutes is amazing to get a good view. And what happens is you can do it at the 12 Apostles, which is the most popular way of doing the helicopter ride, which is near the town of Port Campbell. So you come to the visitor center, you have your safety briefing, you get into the helicopter, and then off you go. And once you're out there, you actually get to see everything. And it's like a little guided tour because the pilot is all the time, informing you of the different attractions out there. So all the 12 apostles and the islands have really funny and different names, and he explains to you why it is so. So for examples, there is, I did the one I did on this tour is called the London Bridge tour. So once you're up there, he takes you there and he shows you the natural rock formation, which was named as London Bridge because it is like a bridge between the mainland and the one of the apostles, for example. So that is called like a London Bridge because the rock formation looks like a bridge, and they have named it that. The next one was called the Mutton Bird Island because they have a mutton bird that kind of inhabits the island. That's the only place that you see it. So it's made very interesting. And then you see the horseshoe, island. Now, when someone says horseshoe, if you just see it from the road, you can't see the shape. You don't even know what it is. But when you're high up in the air, you actually appreciate the horseshoe shape. That why is this called like this? And the best part is after he talks to you and takes you along the road, he then made a turn and then lined up so that we could see all the 12 apostles. There are only 8 of them, and even the,
Yeah, like 4 of them just crashed in, right? Crashed into
yes,
the
that's
sea,
right.
right?
So when they discovered them, they called them 12 because there was 12. They are, after all, limestone formations. And limestone stacks is a very soft stone. So, weathering and all of those environmental factors, there are only 8 remaining. But coming back to the helicopter ride, when he took a turn so that they all appeared in a straight line, and you get that iconic photo of the 12 apostles from there. So totally worth it and totally a must do item.
Like on a clear day, the sunsets are super pretty over there, right? So now, is it a day trip or should one do an overnight? Like, of course, you've mentioned it briefly earlier, but see, of course, traveling from Melbourne all across, I've done day trips, I've done an overnight, but you are the expert. You know how people think, how travelers think. So, what do you think? Like, should one do a day trip, or just it should be like an overnight or 2 night stay while you're doing the Great Ocean Road?
So coming to the day trip or a week, if you have no other option, and if you think you're going to miss it, then definitely do a day trip. Get there, see it, and come, because that if that's going to be your only chance of experiencing the Great Ocean Road, definitely do a day trip, and then definitely add the helicopter ride, because without that you don't get a perspective, or you'll just keep feeling that I'm just driving all the time. It's like a good 3 hours to get there, 3-4 hours to get there. It's a very long day. Like it becomes like a completely, entire day is just for that. You can't do anything else. So definitely do it in a day trip, but make sure you get on that helicopter and do book that in advance, because there is going to be a limited number of helicopters that can take off. There's going to be a limit to the number of people who can be in it. And also, one of the nice things about going now in winter, and if you do plan to visit now between say July to October, is keep your eyes open, because that entire coast has visitors, which are the whales. So the whale watching season also happens to be now. That's when the water's too cold down in Antarctica and the whales come here. So it's an excellent time. And with the helicopter, Neil,
So,
you
but
can
are
see
there are
the
there are there whale watching tours that happen over there?
There are whale watching tours as well, and there are whale watching lookout points too. But again, think of it, seeing it from the ground and being high up in the helicopter, you have better chances of seeing the whales. So if you're lucky, you can even spot the whales.
Okay,
So
so
yeah, if you
the helicopter ride is not just the Apostles. There's the
no,
Ocean Road, there's the
no,
Apostles, there's different angles that you
you
see
can
it from. Yeah.
choose what you want to do. So if you want a longer one for the more of the Great Ocean Road, you take it for half an hour or so. We did like a good 15 minutes where we did that and London Bridge. So you have different options to choose from. But the main attraction remains the 12 Apostles, because that's really what you want to see. And then along with that, you add something else. But yeah, so if you really can't give more time, then do it as a day trip from Melbourne. But I would say at least one night, at least one night. And in fact, Neil, this time when I drove the entire Great Ocean Road, I felt like spending a week there. I'm not joking. I really felt like this could turn into a week-long itinerary. And it's just so many different things to do. So it's like everything you thought you could do in Australia, you can tick it off here. Rainforest, you can visit a rainforest. You want to do surfing, like, that's the Aussie way, right? So Rip Curl has that pro surfing that happens here. Plus, you can learn at a beginner school. So surfing, that is possible here. You want to do zip lining, you want to do canopy walks, everything is possible. Food and wine, there's some amazing wineries here. And there are really nice walks, hikes, and there are taste trails. So, if you start in one city, one town, and you do the whole road, like we spent 2 nights. I spent one night at Anglesey and one night at Port Campbell. And I still felt like I didn't have enough time to really enjoy the whole place.
So
So,
you know how, like,
yeah.
as how the evolution of the Indian traveler is just displayed right now, right? As an Indian traveler, we started doing Australia, New Zealand together. Then we
Yes.
realized, hey, both of these countries are so beautiful, they can
Right.
be done separately and they should be done separately,
Right.
giving ample time. Then we realized that, hey, both of these countries, are now we are talking about Australia, needs 2 trips. And that's why,
Yes,
like, there was
at
one
least.
route that was Sydney to Melbourne, and then there's, of course, Cairns, Gold Coast,
Yeah.
Brisbane. And then now we've realized that there is so much more that even 2 trips aren't enough. So
Mm.
that is good. Okay, chalo, 15 minutes we've spoken about the Great Ocean Road. What about overnight options? Like, where should we
Mhm.
stay if we are planning an overnight option?
Right. So the Great Ocean Road starts from Turkey, and you can stay in Turkey as well. Like if you really like surfing, Turkey is a great place for that. So Bells Beach, which is quite famous for, it's a surfing mecca. And you can do there, or there is actually a surf world museum out there. So that's something which can be, that is kind of the first stop. So if you're staying overnight, I would say choose 2 places, and choose one in the surf coast and one in the shipwreck coast. So, one on the eastern side and one on the western side, and that will give you a fair enough idea of at least 2 different things to do. You could choose to stay one night or longer. It's up to you. So you can even do a two-nighter and a two-nighter, and then explore all the other areas around it. Anglesey, again, I stayed at Anglesey. Again, a very beautiful place to stay. There's a great resort there called the Great Ocean Road Resort. And in fact, I was pretty surprised and pleasantly surprised, because in the morning they were having yoga classes, and when I walked in near the gym, they had chants of Om all around. And Damien, who runs Great Ocean Road Resort, he even arranges Indian food if you need to. But they have an amazing restaurant which is quite popular. You need to book it, and really good Australian food, like and quite inspired by different cuisines. So that's another thing that you will see all along Australia and all along Great Ocean Road, that the food is simply good, because the produce itself is really amazing. But yeah, Anglesey also has a very nice 2.5 kilometers walk, which is called the Anglesey Art Walk. So what they've done is put up these different beautiful art installations, and you can just walk along and see that. After that, we can come to Lorne, and Lorne is also really good, great place for barbecues, beaches, and it has some more than, I think, around 10 waterfalls in the vicinity. So if you stay in Lorne, you can go out hiking, walking. If that's your scene, then definitely stay in Lorne,
When
go to
I
the
when I
beaches.
when did the Great Ocean Road last, I stayed at Lord. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And how did you like it, Neil?
Yeah, we didn't do 2 hikes through a
Ah,
rainforest.
see,
I
yes.
remember that was a long time ago now. The next trip will have a probably different place where I'll probably stay.
Yeah, so Lorne is great. I personally really loved Apollo Bay, because I think it's a small enough town to be a little away from everybody, little away from everywhere. I didn't stay there, but we did visit there. In fact, I remember I liked it so much. I said, I need some time here. So I parked the car and we walked all along Apollo Bay. It's not a very big place, but it's just too cute, too, really charming. And it's right by the ocean. So getting to the ocean is very, very, very easy. And Apollo Bay, whoever's going, remember, you have to go and taste Dooley's ice creams. They had a wall full of the awards they've won. So they've won something more than 500 awards and voted as Australia's best ice cream, and they make it there in the shop. So that's something you should definitely taste. One more thing I realized, Neil, and I'm sure when you lived in Australia, probably you felt it. The portion sizes are huge. So we found it really difficult as to even finish a meal or an ice cream. I told her I want the smallest portion because we were continuously eating, right? Breakfast, lunch, dinner, and in between. And she said, this is the smallest portion. Of course, I was a little greedy and I said, okay, I want two flavors. But the smallest scoop was like a large scoop that we
Massive,
have
right? Yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah.
So I don't know, you must have felt this
Yeah,
in Australia as well.
like many places. So everyone's used to those large portions. So if you find a restaurant which doesn't give you large portions, a large chunk of the diners will be very unhappy. So yes, Australia is known for that. And say if you are on the Great Ocean Road and you will see many of these shops lined up, which are fish and chips shops, you'll just get this massive like fried fish, massive chips. It's yeah, the portions are crazy over there. Now, as we are
And
nearing,
sorry, Neil, but
yeah.
I have one more point to complete on places to stay. So Apollo, we also had a really nice Indian restaurant, and I think he was doing a lot of takeaways out there, which was great. And then there's Port Campbell. So Port Campbell is probably at the other end, on the eastern side, we can say, and very close to the 12 Apostles. So if 12 Apostles is your main point of interest, then definitely stay at Port Campbell. It's also a small town. We had a very nice lodge, the Southern Ocean Lodge, and a lot of options here were 2, 3 bedrooms. So for a family, for a group of friends, there are some really good points here. And I did realize that you can't do a one nighter because by the time you check in, you've only gotten used to the area. So at least 2 nights gives you that chance to go around, see new places, and do different things. But it was very easy, super easy to get to the 12 Apostles from Port Campbell, just 10 minutes away. Nice restaurants facing the beach. So, your morning coffee or like your breakfast can be by the beach. It's really amazing and great place to walk. You can just keep walking everywhere. And then, of course, if you go ahead, there is Warrnambool, which is the biggest town. So if you are somebody who wants more options for stay or restaurants and meals, than Warrnambool. But for me, I think Warrnambool gives you that big town, whereas the other places I mentioned are more of the small town, which is what you're looking for more on a holiday. And along after Warrnambool is Port Fairy, which is again a really sweet place to stay. So, you have like ample options. And on the eastern side, before we come to Turkey, Geelong is another place I would love to suggest because I simply loved it. There is the wonderful beach, there are roadside walks, and they have Bellarine Peninsula, which is famous for food. So they have a taste trail. So you can start picking off places to visit and try
That's a
different
good way
food.
of like just ticking things off your bucket list that you
Yes.
want to try. Like tomorrow I'm supposed to go to Finland, so I was just making a list of all of the food items that I really want to eat.
Wow.
So the next episode we'll probably do with me in Finland and you here. So do you
That'd
think
be great.
anything we missed out when it comes
Neil, we
to?
could keep talking for hours, even just on the Great Ocean Road. But one thing I want to mention is that make a plan of what is really important for you, like what it is that you want to do, and then choose the area accordingly. So, for example, Warrnambool has this really nice Flagstaff Maritime Hill, which is a village, which it's like a period costumes. People are dressed in the old style, and you can go and see things there as to how people lived in 1880s, for example, in the 1800s and early 1900s. And also that has a nice sound and light show which tells you about the indigenous people, their life. It tells you about how a little bit of the building of the Great Ocean Road and the shipwrecks that happened there. And one of the most notable stories of the shipwreck is something that is called the Lockhart, and in fact, very close to the 12 Apostles, two more places of interest. One is the Gibson Steps, which you can climb down, and then you can actually, from the beach, you can see the 12 Apostles, at least a few of them. And the other place is the Lockhart Gorge. The Lockhart Gorge it's just stunning. So when you go there and you see the way the gorge is formed, and this is where one of the famous shipwrecks happened of the Lockhart. Lockhart was the ship. And, again, it's really like Titanic. It's a story that really changed lives for a lot of people, because from the 54 survivors, only 2 survive. And Tom and Eva are the 2 survivors. They survived that place. And they climbed up the cliff. And when you're actually standing there, you can see it's so difficult. How did they do it? But they were swept away, and then they climbed up the cliff. They were rescued, and the entire town wanted them to get married, and they wanted a romantic story, but that didn't happen because they were just not interested. He went back to England, and she went and lived her own life. But yeah, so you can see all of that at the Maritime Hill Museum in Flagstaff in Warrnambool. They also actually have a peacock that was recovered, like a studded peacock statue, and that is still kept there, the Minton peacock, which is quite stunning to see. So that is one. If you want to do adventure, there are a lot of things to do. There are trails, there are walks. So that's what I'm saying. Choose what you want to do. Like there is the Great Otway National Park. You have a zip line, so you can actually go from tree to tree, or you can do a canopy walk as well. So choose your adventure activities, whether you're a family, you're a group of friends, or you just want to take it easy, or you're on a romantic break. So there is the Pole House at Fairhaven, which is like $1,000 a night. And it's just this beautiful house right on the pole. So it has the most amazing views. So decide what you want, and then see if you can do the Great Ocean Road in 1 day, 2 days, or a week, if you have that time.
Well, that's true. Like if you have that time, and if you're going to the World Cup at the end of the year, take time out and go to the Great Ocean Road, because that would be a great outing away from the cricket for a bit, and it'll be quite good. So guys, that was the Great Ocean Road. And Sunila, thanks a lot. Next week,
Neil.
we switch.
Yes.
We come back to the Northern Hemisphere. We'll pick a topic that will be of interest to everyone, similar to how Australia also is, but at the same time, we've done 2 episodes on Australia. Now it's time to come back to the Northern Hemisphere. Another interesting topic. But thank you so much, listeners, viewers, for tuning in to Travel Explore Celebrate Life. We will see you next week, next Saturday, on Spotify, YouTube, JioSaavn, Amazon Prime Music, or wherever you listen to your podcast. See you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.